All right. And now we are live on YouTube. So
Okay.
let me introduce myself. I'm Fabio. I'm 43 years old. I live in a small town named Campo Limpo Paulista in São Paulo States. And I'm here on TNT about 2 years, 1 year as a talker and 1 year as a host. I'm not a teacher. I'm not here to teach anything. And that's all. This is a meeting conversation, just a conversation between friends, you know? And could you please introduce yourself?
Okay. My name is Gabriela. I'm from Venezuela. I live in Venezuela right now. I was living in Argentina until last month. I have a degree in business administration. Yeah, this is my first time here.
Awesome.
So very good.
And let me ask you some questions. And
Okay.
how did you find out TNT?
I find out about TNT actually in LinkedIn. So I
Great.
was really in. I think this platform is really interesting because we can learn some languages
Yeah,
like this in conversation. That's very,
awesome.
very, very nice.
Welcome aboard. It's a pleasure to meet you. And
Okay.
let me ask you about Vinicius. Hey, Vinicius, how are you?
Hello, Fabio. Hello.
How are you
How are you,
doing, my
ma'am?
friend?
I'm doing great. How about you, ma'am? Long time I didn't see you.
Yes, yes, I had some problem, unfortunately, and I didn't attend in this meeting in the last week. I'm so sorry. And Vinicius, could you please introduce yourself because it's the first time to Gabriela here with us.
Of course. Welcome, Gabriela. Um, my name is Vinicius. I'm from Avaré, but I'm living in Curitiba right now. I work as a software engineer. I'm married, no kids, no pets. I live in a really small apartment. I like to run in the mornings when it's not rainy or so cold. I love to read, play video game, and I guess that's it.
Awesome, awesome. It's a pleasure to have you again here, Vinicius. And Gabriela, let me explain for you how Team Two works, right?
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just a second. Here. And Talking is a conversation platform for beginner, intermediate, and advanced English speakers. And the live conversation meetings are for all levels, all right? As I told you before, this is not a regular class, and we are not here to teach you anything. However, you are gonna learn by practicing in a real environment. And here on TNT, we have two rules. The first one, don't worry about your mistakes. This is the right place to make mistakes. Feel free to talk. Just speak up. And the second rule, have fun. Don't worry. Just conversation between friends. Don't worry if you can't explain the thing how you want to. And let me see what else. If you wanna more information about the platform, you can check it out on talkingtalk.com.br. All right? You can get down the business today. We're gonna talk about hypothetical questions about divorce. It's an interesting topic. Let me share with you guys the questions that you wanna work on. Yeah. Everyone can see the questions on the chat box.
Yes, I can see it.
Yes, awesome. And let's get started, all right? The question number one. How do you react if your spouse or husband suddenly suggests getting divorced? And how do you react, Vinicius?
I don't know. It's a hard question, of course. But first, I guess I probably try understand what's going on. Like I think when we talk about divorce, it's more like something is happening for a long time, and you just don't see what is going on. So first I will try understand, and after some informations, probably I would agree with my wife because she's want the divorce. So it's her choice. So it's simple. It's not, of course, probably cry and that stuff, but it's normal.
Yes, I don't believe your partner suddenly suggests divorce. I think the divorce it's a lot of phase before the one part suggests this kind of thing. What about you, Gabriela? What's your opinion about it? How do you react? Are you married or not? I'm sorry.
And no, I have a partner, but I'm not married.
Awesome.
I think it's a very hard question, like Vinicius said. But the first thing that a partner should do is just talk. So I will ask my partner what is going on, what is he want to divorce me, and maybe we can try go to therapy or something like that. And if they're kids, it's really hard because uh, the kids need to have both parents, the mother and the father. But if the two persons separates, the kids have to have the support of the two of us. So maybe sure I'm gonna cry, and that's the normal thing.
Yeah, for me, I can imagine this kind of situation happen with me because I've got married almost 23 years, and I don't imagine it get divorced with my partner. I have a good relationship with her. But I agree with you, Gabriela, about your point of view. All right, let's move on to question number 2. This question is a little tricky, but for me it's a little obvious too. If you find out that your spouse cheating on you, would you file for divorce, Gabriela?
It's a really hard question, actually. Yes, I think I should file for divorce, because if you are in a marriage, you suppose you can look for anyone else. A marriage is a commitment that you should honor every day. So
Yeah.
I can pass on that.
Yes, in my opinion, every relationship it's based on how can I say confidence each other. If you break
Yes.
this confidence, it's hard to deal with after this kind of thing. What about you, Vinicius?
Hard question, but my answer, I guess, depends on the situation because, you know, maybe your wife or husband are cheating you because of something, like if you did this before, or maybe you're like you work so much, you in fact you don't see what is really going on. So it's not right, of course, but maybe because, if you have children and, divorce, it's a complicated thing. Maybe the person just see have another partner. It's easier, it's complicated, but I think it's depends on the situation. But for me, of course, like you said, it's like a trust with each other, and if this trust is broken, so divorce. But I think nowadays depends on the case.
Yeah, it's important to analyze because each case it's different from one case to another case. But as I said before, we need to trust each other, and when you can't trust anymore, it's hard to keep going on with this relationship. For me, it's this way at least. And would you like to add something else, Vinicius or Gabriela? We can move on for the next one.
I can move on.
All right. Guys, please just free to talk. We don't need to wait to your turn. It's a real conversation. You're free to talk whatever you want. All right?
Okay.
And Gabriela, could you please read for us the number 3?
Yes. If you were married for a long time to a very nice person, but you were not happy in your marriage anymore, would you consider getting a divorce, or would you stay married to that person?
What do you think about it?
I think I would get a divorce, because if I'm not feeling very well, comfortable with that person, I think the best is to separate, because it's I don't know how to say, it's for the best. Maybe that person can find another person that loves them like I can do. And maybe I can find a match for me that is best for me and for the other person.
Yeah, it's a trick question because, in my opinion, of course, because if you are married for a long time, we create, probably, in my opinion, we create a good relationship. And if you with person for a long time, in my opinion, I can't imagine it don't be happy with this person, And it's a little trick.
Yes,
Please go
it's
ahead.
trick, but I think it can happen. For example, my parents were married like 20 years, I think,
When you
and maybe more. I can't remember. And my parents separate because my father can continue. In that time, he really couldn't continue married to my mother because he was getting to know another person. So the best for him and for my mother too was to separate. And right now they are talking like friends.
Awesome.
And
They get along right now.
See, yes,
Good,
I'm sorry.
very good.
Yes,
No, please.
they get along really good right now. At the moment, obviously, they didn't talk really well, and just they talk really the necessary for me and my sister. But right now, they are really treat each other very well.
Awesome. Maybe, I'm not sure, of course, but maybe we can change our mind after some time. Yeah, probably. And what about you, Vinicius? How do you see this kind of
I
situation?
totally agree with the Gabrielle said before. I think when you live with a person for so long time, you love her in your own way. Of course, it's not like maybe it's not a love to live together, but you have a relationship. And of course, I totally agree. You need to get the divorce because if you really love that person or loved that person, you need to take that person be happy with another. Like if you're not happy, you maybe the person is not happy as well. So it's the best way to it's each one it's maybe live your own life. But I think it would be really complicated, like you say, oh, I want to be a free person, but it's the best way for you and the person, like most of you thinking on the person because it's hard, like I see a lot of cases at not my family, but you know, a friends, and like the people are living together, but they hate each other, and they are just together because of the kids, or because of the parents, or because of the house, of the car, or whatever, and it's so complicated, and I think just adding for the women's it's so much harder to do that because nowadays it's not so because a lot of women's they have his own jobs and that stuff, but before like my grandma's time, like how my grandma will say for my grandpa, okay, I want divorce. She really depends on my grandpa. So was really complicated. Nowadays it's more easier, but I think about the person, the best way it's divorce, I guess.
I see. I see. Can we move for the next one?
Yes.
Sure.
Awesome. Take a look the question number 4. It's a hypothetical question, of course, but I would like to know about your opinion. Would you ever stay married just for the sake of the children, even though you were not happy in your marriage? Gabriela.
I think this question connect to the question before.
Yes.
As Vinicius was saying, I think that they could create a problem in the family because if the parents stay with each other, they can hate each other, they can fight in front of the kids, and they could that is not a good place to create a good environment for the children.
Yes.
So I think that the best is to just separate, but be present for the kids all the time.
Yeah, it's so important to the environment for children because it can damage the
Yes.
children if you don't have a good environment. And Vinicius,
I don't know, man. I'm not sure about that. My answer because at deep I think okay, it's necessary separate because of the think about the children, but I know a lot of persons that grow up with two houses, different houses, and it's complicated because of the different cultures You know, each parent has his own thoughts, his own culture, and maybe it's complicated for the kid, you know, like if the kid is like just 4 or 5 years, it's so much complicated. I guess maybe I'll wait for some years, you know, like maybe 4 or 5 years. And you know, I think when the person are adult, they can live without hate or cry, fight every time for the kid, you know, if the kid was the dream for both of them. But you know, it's complicated. I see a lot of times here at where I live nowadays. I won't say the name, of course, but I I see a case, you know, that the parents are divorced, and it's complicated because you know the father say one thing and the mother say the opposite all the time because they hate each other. So they just, you know, and the kid is just like a tool for both of them, you know, like to hurt each other. So I don't know. Maybe for me, I would say I would be married for more time, waiting for my kid. But you know, depends case by case, I guess.
My wife had this experience. My my father-in-law and lived with my mother-in-law until your children's become an adult, and after that he decided to get a divorce from my mother-in-law because they don't have a good relationship. But it's difficult for same for adults. It's difficult. It's our divorce. It's always
Yes.
difficult for children's, for family around. It's difficult. But anyways, let's move on for the next one. And Vinicius, could you please the number 5,
Sure,
please?
sure. How would you react if your parents told you they decided to get a divorce? Maybe nowadays, probably I would say I would really happy, you know, because if they are getting the divorce, you know, probably they just hiding something from me from all life, you know, and I think nowadays they need be happy, you know, like they work so long for create the sons, you know, maybe it's the best way nowadays. Probably I would say okay, it's the right way. It's not of course not my parents, I guess. I'm not sure, but I guess they are happy. But you know, if they told me that, I think okay, I think they they won't be happy. So who am I to say no, you know? If I was a kid as well, you know, I really think, but you know, opposite that, my sister, it's like a really family person, you know, and it's probably for her it's the end of the world, you know. Depends, I guess, depends on the sons, the person. For me, it's okay, but my sister, knowing her, probably would be the end of the world.
And Gabriela, you already told us that you had this kind of experience. Would you like to talk
Yes.
about it or not?
Yes, yes, of course.
Ah, go ahead, please.
Yes, I have this experience, like I told you before. Um, I was an adult because I think I was 18 years old when my father told us that he would divorce to my mother. And in the situation, I took it really well because they wouldn't getting along, so it wasn't difficult really, because my father was really present in our lives, in my sister and mine. We see him every weekend, and he talked to us in the phone. He was support us in every level, so it wasn't a bad experience for me and for my sister too.
Great. Thank you for sharing your experience with us. Thank you. And I don't have this experience because my mother is a widow. My my father passed away when he was 40s. I was, I think 13, 14, and I don't have this kind of experience. My mother don't want to marry again. And that's it. All right, let's move on for the number 6. All right, take a look the question number 6. What would the world be like if the divorce was illegal?
Like we live at the dark ages. Was
Yeah,
Totally.
and actually, in the past, divorce was illegal because
yeah.
the principle of the Bible, but it's a difficult. I can't imagine this kind of thing because I think in the past it's always happened this kind of thing during the history.
Oh, just to think one point. You bought a car, and like you like the car, but someone say for you, you need this car, and you will have this car for all your life, and but you're find another car a better for you, and what do you think? You really, so it's complicated, like if you're just thinking about a simple thing like a car, it's you just say, okay, it's not possible. Like you think, how about you live with, like think about it. You not nowadays, I guess, not so common, but I know some persons that married with another person they didn't know, just because of
Mm.
the father said that, oh, you need married, it's normal for women, you need marry with him because he's on he we know ever his family, we know he's the same church or something like that, it's was normal. And it's kind of, like you married it and didn't know the person, didn't like the person, in fact. So imagine you need to live all your life with that person, like it's it's a horrible, so it's complicated. it,
That
I guess we
for
don't think so much about that because we're men, and for us, it's like we normally chosen the things, but for women it's really really hard, and I know some that are married because like his own because of their parents, or and so maybe was the worst word ever.
for me, it's difficult to give my opinion about it because I'm a look guy. I had an incredible relationship for several years, and I can't see the divorce as a good way to solve a problem. And I think the marriage is a really serious decision. And for example, it's my point of view, of course. I'm not one to say this is the right thing. It's just my point of view. For example, when you get start a relationship with other person, let start to dating with the other person, in my opinion, the goal is to meet these people in the deep way, to know if you want to get married with him or her or not. And when you decide to get married with this person, you need to know this person very well. Because in my opinion, the relationship when you're dating other people, it's the goal is to know these people. And when you get married, you need to see this relationship like a special thing, right? But it's my opinion. I'm not saying that I'm right, right? Because as I said before, I'm a guy because I have a good relationship for years. But I'm a little curious. What about your opinion, Gabriela?
I really think they could be a disaster. I think the divorce can be illegal because we are human beings made of choice. We can be courageous to our freedom. We need to have freedom to do everything that we want to do. So I think in the Catholic religion, the divorce doesn't exist. So if you get married in the church, that marriage is forever. And if you choose to divorce that person, you can marry again in the church. So, but that's another religious stuff that I'm not gonna getting into. But I think the divorce has to be a choice.
I get it. Awesome. Would you like to add something else, Vinicius?
Yes, I totally agree with Gabriela said. Like some churches or some religions have some rules, but I think not is forever. You know, like you need to have a need be a second chance if it's necessary, or third or fourth, whatever. You know, and you know we just think about the Brazil that we can and have the chance to choose our partners, but thinking in a global way, there's a lot of persons in the world that don't have this chance. You know, it's not her own choices, it's someone else's choices. And I think the divorce need exists for that persons, you know. We here we are living now, you know, like in the heaven, comparing with some countries in the world. So I think when we just fought in a global way, it's more complicated than we have this situation here in Brazil.
Thank you, Vinicius. Thank you for sharing your opinion. But you said everybody deserve a second chance. And the next question is exactly about it. All right. And Gabriela, would you date someone who had been divorced 3 times or more before?
Actually, yes, I would date someone that has divorced, whatever,
Don't matter.
2, 3, 4. It
Whatever.
really doesn't matter. It matters that if I meet the person and I like that person, and I think it's a really good fit for me. The past, it is the past. Uh, the only thing that it really is important is the present. because the past is the past and the future we don't know. So yes, I totally date someone that has been before divorced.
Thank you for sharing with us. And this week I laughed a lot with a partner from my work, a colleague, and he got divorced 3 times. and, and he always complained about his ex. And I said, but you got divorced 3 times. The problem is with there. There's
Maybe the problem is
no
him.
makes
It's
sense for
him.
me. He is a nice guy. I laugh a lot. We just kidding each other, and I laugh a lot about it. But your point of view makes sense for me. I think like you. And Vinicius, you are the guy that say everybody deserves the second chance. What about your
Of
opinion
course,
about this
I
question?
totally agree with what Gabriel said. The past is the past, like if you need to try 10 times before you need just a one right away, it's not, you don't need to have 4 or 5 wives or husband. You just need one that you really love. And I think in some cases, of course, sometimes the problem maybe it's just you're a tough person, and but I think in nowadays, it's common, like I've been seeing a lot of cases that person just divorcing, and the opposite as well. The person just know each other like 1 year and get married. And I just think, okay, I I'm with my wife, I guess 12 years, so it's a long time.
Yeah, it is.
But you're we are not married, like in the church or that stuff. And I just thinking, like the person just married like some months after know each other, and I guess
Ah,
that's the problem, you know, and you just want to get married, and you didn't live, you know, with the person, you didn't know the real person. It's when you're just dating, it's different when you're living with the person. It's dating is like just the good parts of the relationship. And when you live together, you need um clean the house, you need to do the boring stuffs with the couple, and that we know really knows your partner, I guess.
great. I had a problem with my connection, but right now it's working. And would you like to add something else, Gabriela? We can move on for the next one.
No, I think we can move on.
All right. And take a look the number 8. It's almost every question is connected one another.
Yeah.
And if you decide to get a divorce, how do you help your children cope with that? In my opinion, and the most important thing is to be always present. And we need to talk a lot with them. We need to support, we need to show them that you are, make my case, I am his father, I am his friend, and I'm here whatever he needs to talk to, whatever we he want. And in my opinion. And Vinicius, how would
Mm,
you help your children cope or
uh,
deal with that?
I, I agree with you. Maybe present, of course. Um, but I don't know. I think when you're divorced, it's the children. it suffers so much. And I don't know, me because it's normal. The parents try buy your own son, his own son or daughters, like with present, with sometimes with a car or whatever. But you know, and they forgot that the most important thing, make maybe love and be present and really cares about the child life. you know I don't know, I like I said before, I probably stay married, maybe being a happy person to don't separate it. But and I don't know how to support my child if I do that. It's a hard question.
I see. What about you, Gabriela?
Well, like I said before, this is this situation I it was in my life. And the key word here is, like you say, is be present always. Like my father did when he went out of my house. He was really present for my sister and myself. Um, and another thing that I think is important. I don't have children, but if I was in this situation as a mother, I wouldn't say anything bad about the father, and vice versa. Uh, that is a really important thing, because neither of my mother and my father did that with us, with my sister and I, and that was really important for build a relationship strong and with my father and my mother in separate ways.
Yeah, I have a question for you. Would you do something different from your father and your mother deal with the situation with you and your sister? Something
Um,
different, or you deal with the same way? If it happened
I
with you.
Yes, I think what I would do different is that my father stayed married with my mother until we was we an adult, because my father went away when I was 18 and my sister was 20. So that was a really long period of time that he wouldn't be comfortable with my mother. So that decrease in her happiness, and that impact in his adult life, uh, in here in psychologically. So that's what I do differently. I just, when I stop feeling love with another person, that's a key point for me. So we have to separate, and we will um I don't know how to say, crianza,
Children.
raise we will raise our
Raise,
children
raise.
always together, but in separate ways.
Yeah, I got you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing with us. All right, let's move on for the number 9. In what case would you choose to get a divorce rather than try to save your marriage? In my case, and if my wife cheated on me, I, I I can't forgive this kind of thing. In my case, the other things I think I can try to save, but the shadow, it's for me. I think I can't deal with.
But the
And
opposite, do you think that your wife need maybe give you a second chance?
If I do that,
Yeah.
I don't believe, I don't think so. I think she thinks the same way,
Sheesh. Yeah.
in
Because
my
I
opinion.
just
I'm
asked
not
you
sure, of
because
course. I'm sure
mm,
about me, but I think my wife
yes,
don't will
be,
forgive me.
yes, because I've seen a lot of cases at my work or in and it's a fun thing because when the man is there cheating his own wife, he just say, "Oh, I was wrong, I was not thinking right," and that stuff. But when it's the opposite, the person just say, "Okay, no chance, I want a divorce," you know
Yeah,
and
it's true.
it's I guess it's some kind of culture, like if the man he needs a second or another chance, but his own wife make a mistake, it's just one chance in his life, so it's complicated for
Yeah,
me.
I have seen, and nowadays this kind of thing has changed. The
Yeah.
woman has changed your opinion
Mm.
about. Of course, this kind of thing happens a lot with women forgive men from childhood, but I have been seeing this kind of thing has changed in nowadays.
Yes, I guess need be for the same for the both cases, if you of course, like I said before, depends on the case. Each case is no different, but
Situations.
yes, but if this happened with me, like if my wife is cheating to me, I don't know, maybe I will try understand if the first time what I where I did wrong,
The
if I
real
did some.
reason.
Yes, exactly, the real reason, because maybe it's just unthought thing, like just happened, or maybe it's a situation that I case, you know
I
it,
see, I see.
it's complicated, but and of course another way, if my wife try kill me, of course I probably will ask for divorce, like, oh, okay, I guess this case I no second chances.
Let's listening to our opinion from a woman. How
Yeah.
do you deal with the situation, Gabriela?
Yes, I think I can forgive if someone cheats on me because the trust is broken. And when the trust is broken, it can't be fixed. I I think we can talk as a partner and try to work and be better with each other, but the trust is something that is really fragile, and when you broke it, in my opinion, it can be fixed.
Yes, I think everybody here thinking almost the same way.
Yeah.
All right, finally, let's move on for the number 10. It's a long time that I don't get the 10 questions. How do you help a friend going through a divorce? In my case, my personal case, because as I said before, I'm against divorce. But I trying to understand what happened, and probably my advice is trying to fix your relationship with your partner, because not involved just a partner, involved the family, the entire family. It's a huge decision. But it's my opinion. As I said before, I'm not one to have the same opinion like me. And Vinicius,
Maybe depends on the case, of course, but maybe if he needs help with money, it's normal. Divorce is not so cheaper. Normally, it's really expensive, in fact.
Yeah.
And maybe help you with money. Maybe, like just be a friend, just to listen. Probably he's complaining about his acts or something like that. And, try and help it with some way, like maybe giving a room at my house if it's necessary, or for her, depends on the case, of course. Maybe helping with the child if they had a child. Um, I don't know. I I know a lot of friends that's divorced, but they just like it's a normal thing. They divorce and just say everything is great because now I'm free, and some months after they just are crying for the everything. So I don't know. I guess I don't know how help the person when
It's
they are not
it's
asking for me.
it's hard for us. Imagine for them.
Yes,
and
yes.
and Gabriela, how would
Um,
you help this friend?
like Vinicius says, every case is different. Every case is individual. But as we talk about the children, the key word is be present, be a friend. Just we can have a cup of coffee and talk, and or like Vinicius says, if my friend want to stay in my house for any period of time, he can. So if you I consider my friends as my family. So when I really love a person as a friend, I will be there in every time.
All right, guys, we have been getting in the end of this meeting. I
Okay.
share with you guys a link. This link is about a survey about this meeting. Please, you can answer the questions about, because it's so important, your feedback. Vinicius has been attending this meeting for several months, but Gabriela, it's your first time, and I would like to
Okay.
say thank you so much for attending this meeting. It's our pleasure. It's a huge pleasure to meet you. And I really recommend you attending the other meetings with other roles, because each meeting is different from other.
Yes.
And what else I can say for you? Welcome, and please keep coming for these meetings. It's very important to increase this community.
Thank you. Thank you. This was a really, really great time.
Awesome. Me too. Vinicius, thank you again for always supporting me in this meeting. It's so important to one who has opportunity to practice our English together. As I said, I'm not a teacher. I'm just a student like you. My work here is just guidance this conversation.
Yes, yes. I guess we have a important chance to talk. Like a lot of normal course for the word. It's like you just read and see the book, but here we have the real chance to talk and make mistakes and learn with our own mistakes and be better. So it's I guess it's a different way to learn. So because that's why loving TNT.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. I need to disconnect because there are other meeting after that with other roles. Guys,
Okay.
have a good one. Thank you so much. And see you soon.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.